Welcome to Reread. I'm still on Tales from Jabba's Palace. Here we go. The first one is Timothy Zahn, Sleight of Hand, Mara Jade. She's under disguise as Erica, and she's interviewing with someone called the Fat Man. It's basically the guy in the deleted scene from A New Hope, and he's saying, you know, I used to play Jabba when people didn't know who Jabba the Hutt was. They'd send me out there. You know, they were just trying to explain that deleted scene that they eventually just digitized Jabba the Hutt over. And I mean, if you don't know about that deleted scene, this doesn't mean anything to you, but Timothy Zahn thought, oh, I need to explain a deleted scene that doesn't matter. I don't know. Anyway, Mara Jade is the best at everything. She knows everything. She automatically knows that's not Bosch. In fact, that's a woman underneath that bounty hunter gear. How can you tell that? I don't know. And they don't explain how. She just can. And then when she's there on a mission to kill Luke Skywalker, and then she knows that Luke, Luke's not who he appears to be. Or I'm sorry. She knew that the girl was inside Bosch's armor, and she knew something was up. So she's the one that tips off Jabba. See, Jabba is too stupid to figure it out. So Mara Jade is the one who told Jabba that that's a friend of Han Solo's in there. Like, she already knew this somehow. The other thing she knows is when she wonders where Luke's lightsaber is. Why would Luke be dumb enough not to bring his lightsaber? It's not on him. A Wookiee can't hide it. A droid like C-3PO can't hide it. Yes, he can, but I don't know. But she goes, oh, it's in the R2 unit. That's where the lightsaber is. Now, why didn't she tell Jabba that? I don't know. But after all these awesome things that Mara Jade can do, she's one of the dancers for Jabba, so she's a servant girl, but she requests to get on the barge, and Jabba says, no, you may not. She goes, oh, I have failed. Oh, so you can do all these power seductions, but you can't sleep on a sail barge with all of Jabba's cronies? You're a dancer girl. You can get on. You're just part of the entourage of someone else. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm really not a fan of this one. This is where Timothy Zahn just started going Mary Sue on Mara Jade, in my opinion. Like, Mara Jade has to be in every specific moment in Luke's life, leading up to when they meet and the Thrawn trilogy, and I just hate that. Anyway, the next one's called And Then There Were Some, which I kind of like. Gartog is a stupid Gamorrean, and when he finds the kitchen boy dead, Reyes, who we'll read about later, he says he's been murdered and you need to solve the murder so that Jabba will be happy with you. Well, he's dumb and he didn't understand things, so he takes this rotten corpse with him on a mission to figure out who did it. And he's just really dumb. But he walks in front of Derek Jericho, and he knows he's a snot vampire, so when he's walking down the hallway by him, he covers his snout. So Jared doesn't suck his brains out. I thought that was really funny. I must have missed that the first time I read it, because that caught me completely off guard, and I started laughing really hard at that one. The corpse, as he's carrying it over the few days, I guess, that he's had this body, it starts developing maggots. It starts giving out a stench, but he didn't care about the stench because he's a Gamorrean, and it starts dripping out fluid every once in a while. But the plus sign is it's getting lighter to hold. And he starts talking to it too. He starts talking to the dead corpse. He picks up another dead corpse too that someone else says, oh, he's meditating. And so he's basically lugging around two dead bodies here trying to solve the murder. And he goes to his captain. He says, oh, he can't, the captain keeps asking him to speak in complete sentences because he's so stupid he can only say certain words. And the one time he he makes a complete sentence, he goes, dog, I wish the captain was here to hear me say that complete sentence. He'd be so proud. It's actually very fun and charming, because in the end, he says, I solved the murderer. Who is it? Derek Jericho. He went, what? The snot vampire? How do you know? He went, because he never leaves evidence, and there was no evidence at the scene of the crime. Therefore, it's him. He's so stupid. It's like a dumb Columbo. And it's really, really fun. I love that one. The next one's called Old Friends. This is the F at Mon story. He basically tells the story about to someone else how Jabba saved his life. And so he kind of owes Jabba a life debt in a way. In a way, they're friends. He tips Jabba off about who's going to betray him. And when he meets with Luke, he has a change of heart. Luke says, I know there's good in you. There was good in you once. And F at Mon goes, yeah, there was. What am I doing? I paid Jabba back tenfold for saving my life a long time ago. He and Jabba were running guns. it went bad, and so blaster fire hit Jabba, and he was covering up Ephet Mon, and then they had to spend the night in this frozen tundra, and Ephet Mon would have died of hypothermia, but Jabba, wrapped himself around him, and Jabba froze too. Jabba got a little frostbite, but they both made it out alive, and because of that, Ephet Mon is the closest thing that Jabba has to a friend. So he knows he knows about all these other threats that all these other people are trying to kill. He knows about the thermal detonator, someone trying to poison him, someone made a deal with the Empire to kill Jabba. But all those are not really big threats. He sees Luke Skywalker as a Jedi as a super big threat. And so he goes to Jabba to try to convince him, not to let Luke and his friends go. Jabba won't do it. So they part ways. Jabba says, "Oh, you were never a friend." And Ephet Mon kind of whispers as he goes away, says, "Yes, I was." But now his debt is paid and he moves on. So he lives when Jabba dies. The next one is called Goatgrass, and this one is the one about the three-eyed Rees. He thinks that he is destined to kill Jabba. The more monks see Jabba's barge going up in flame, and him there. And so he's like, "Yeah, so I was the one who did it." And it turns out that he's pretending to be drunk a lot. Like every time you see him in the other stories, he's drunk, but he's pretending to be drunk because he wants to be looked at as an idiot and not a threat to Jabba, because he's the one that works for the Empire. If he kills Jabba, the Empire will wipe his criminal record clean and he'll get to go back to his home planet. I guess he has the death sentence on his home planet. Either way, though, when he gets to the cell barge, he realizes when Jabba's getting choked, Jabba's trying to say a code name at him, and that's when Rees realizes a long time ago he got knocked out and the Bamor monks put a bomb inside, or some of Jabba's people put a bomb inside his stomach. So when the Bamor monks had this vision of it going up in flames, it was him. His bomb is going to go off. But Jabba doesn't get the word out to explode the bomb to kill Leia, and Rees eventually just dies in the cell barge. So it's all right. It's all right. The last one I read is, and the band played on. This is the Max Rebo story, which thankfully breaks continuity with Tales. So Tales was always wishy-washy continuity. So that Tales story of Max Rebo and the band, trying to honor Jabba's contract and go back to Tatooine, never happened. Never happened, because in this one, they're working for someone else and then they go to work for Jabba. But their cover star, Eva Orbis, dies, and so now the Max Rebo band is free. Someone called Snit doesn't want to be called Snit anymore. He wants a cool name, so they call him Droopy McCool, which is kind of how they explain the silly name that he has, I guess, in the toy packages. So he says, "Oh yeah, I like that name. I'm Droopy McCool." Well, when they go to work for Jabba, Cy Snoodles is like, she doesn't know if Jabba's going to kill the front man if they do bad. So she says that Max Rebo's the front man, so that if something bad happens, Max Rebo takes the fall. But they played really well, and Jabba says, "Well, Max, I know you orderlings like food, so you can work for me, lifetime contract for a lifetime supply of food." And he goes, "Sold." And see, Droopy McCool also likes that because he likes to eat too, but Cy Snoodles is like, "What?" So it's a bad deal they're in, but they get all the food they can eat now. And this is the joke that I love. It's when Jabba the Hutt calls Han, "You're nothing but Bantha Poodoo," and everyone laughs. Max Rebo doesn't know what's funny, but he laughs anyway because any food joke is funny. So he eats Bantha Poodoo, which I thought was funny. And basically, they're on the barge, but obviously the author did not want to kill these people. So he says they jumped off in time as the cell barge was exploding and landed in the sand. Oh well, I don't care. Droopy McCool decides to wander the desert because he hears that his people are out there and he wants to be with his people. And Max and Cy form the Max Duo, and they're going to work for Lady Valerian. And this time, Cy Snoodles is going to write up the contract. And Max Rebo goes, "As long as we have food." And she goes, "Yes, plenty of money to buy food." And he goes, "Okay, partner." And they go off in the desert to go back to get to Lady Valerian. So far, all these Tales books are just awesome, and Tales from Jabba's Palace is no exception here. It's just an outstanding, outstanding collection of short stories. And I'll be back with 5 more next time.